last time. And
You did.
thank you. It's October 19th, and it's October. So obviously, we need to talk about spooky stuff. And not just spooky stuff, but like scary Halloween fun stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And we thought, what better way to talk about spooky stuff than have guests come on and talk about their spooky experiences, their favorite spooky movies, or things that just scream Halloween in the traditional and non-traditional ways. So today we have Don from a Game On podcast, a sports podcast for everyone. He is so awesome, and here he is. Hi,
What's
Don.
up?
Hello,
Thanks for
lady.
joining us this week.
Yeah, how are you guys doing?
We're so excited to have you.
All
Pretty
right.
good. How are you doing?
Hey, Bree likes to make fun of me now that I have a sprained ankle. So she messaged me 20 minutes earlier and is like, you better start moving, old man, and get downstairs. So thanks for that.
Awesome.
She does that.
Yeah, I
She
did
does
say that.
She
I did.
messaged me right before the show and asked me if I had internet because I didn't have internet 2 weeks ago. So
Oh, is she the Carlos of the group?
yeah, absolutely.
What? No. Well, she did have internet twice in a row, and
It was
it's
one
just,
day. What are you talking about?
hey,
Hey,
Glenda. She's like our biggest fan, and we love her so much.
I just every time I see her picture, I just love her little haircut. So cute.
Right? It's always so put together, and it's like, I don't know how old she is, but she looks so young and beautiful. Like,
And
I
like
want those
she's
genetics.
very like posh.
Right? She's so put together, and I'm like in a sweatshirt right now, and this is my life. Hello, Don.
Hi.
So let's start by telling us a little bit about yourself. And we hear you have a podcast and a Twitch thing. Tell us about that.
I do. So, started my sports podcast at possibly the worst time you can start a sports podcast, January 31st of 2020.
Perfect.
Yeah, great. About a month later, everything shut down, so that was a blast. No, it's been a lot of fun. We've spoke plenty of times about it. I can't say enough about the guys that I have on, Danny, Carlos, Brooke. I mean, those three pillars. I mean, I couldn't do it without them, honestly, especially Danny. Not saying anything about Carlos, but we all know about Carlos.
Damn
So,
it, Carlos.
yeah, we need to make that a shirt, by the way, like 100%.
Hashtag damn it.
Yeah. So, I know Bree had a problem sort of with our name, a sports podcast for everyone. I wouldn't say problem, but questioned it. And, we kind of like to appeal to everybody. We don't want to be barstool. We don't want to be, cater to one kind of thing. We want to speak to everyone, have, real stuff on our podcast. Yeah, we talk about sports, but we also talk about life and talk about things and with a little comedic twist. And it's a lot of fun. And I love the guys I do it with. And I thank everyone that started in January too. I know some of them are not here with us now, meaning, they're not dead, meaning they're not with the podcast anymore. Unfortunately, things happen, but it still wouldn't be here without them and contributing. So I thank them as well. It's been a lot of fun. We are moving to a different realm at this point, meaning we're starting Twitch. All of us play video games. It's a pastime of mine, and to be able to get on Twitch and interact with our fans, and be able to talk to them in that space, and possibly either play with them or against them in video games, and just have, sort of like this, shoot the shit. You know what I mean? Like just hang out and play video games and chill with our listeners. And it's been really fun. We're picking up steam. We're almost there at affiliate. I know I said that last time. We're still trying to get there. I have a computer being delivered to me tomorrow. Shout out to Elliot for building it for me. I appreciate it. Should be able to get Streamlabs up and running perfectly and have a super cool stream type of stuff. And it'll be a great environment. So if all the listeners want to come by, we'll post a schedule. Usually we're going to start doing it a day in advance, so people kind of know, instead of doing it like 4 hours before, like, hey, by the way. So, I mean, that's going to be the thing. And we're excited to move in that space. And see where it takes us.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
thing. We watch a lot of people on Twitch right now. My husband Robert, he watches the Milk Viper, and it's like a family thing. 8 o'clock in the morning. Oh, milk's on. Say hi,
That's
kids.
crazy.
And he
Ah,
plays all
hey.
these video games. Um, cool. Thanks for sharing. So let's. Where do you guys want to start? Like,
I have a question real quick
oh
though.
no, oh god.
No, no, it's not a bad question. I just want to know, do you live in Florida?
No. So I okay. So I feel
I
like I
just
do
I
at
just see
this
the
point.
Marlins hat. I just
I
checking.
just I like hats. I collect hats. I have
Okay.
different hats, but this happens to be the flavor of the month because it's down in my studio, so it's just here. Um,
Okay.
I mean, I have three others here. If you want me to put those on, if this offends you, I was just wondering.
Yes, please. Throughout the show, just change hats.
um, no, I'm originally from New York City. I was born and raised in New York City. 28 years of my life, Flushing, Queens. Now I live in South Bend, Indiana, which is interesting.
Wow.
Didn't know. Honestly, when I was in New York, I didn't even know this place existed. Um, but then I
Yeah.
moved here, and I understood like Notre Dame is here and everything, and I guess that's cool, whatever. But no, it's growing on me. I've been here for 5 years. Moved here in 2015. It's a small town, but it's got a big heart, and there's a
Aw.
lot of cool things about it. And uh, I always tell people like, "Hey, man, you should check out South Bend. There really is a lot to do." I mean, my wife is involved with the theater here. It's called the Morris Performing Arts Center. She runs the front of house, and it's just a great theater. Unfortunately, thanks 2020, there's really nothing going on right now. But
Yeah.
but honestly, it's a great little big town in my opinion, and it's grown on me in the last 5 years. And I know I can now call it home. So honestly, it's a great place. So if you ever have the chance, or you're driving through, or there's ever a time where you have to get to South Bend, I mean, it's a really great place. Honestly, there's great restaurants, great little mom and pop shops.
Ooh,
It's
those are the
it's it,
best.
it's a cool place. Honestly, I love it here.
Nice.
It's
Cool.
like
Yeah,
Charlottesville, like a small big town. Everyone
I
knows
feel
each
yeah.
other
like
almost.
Indiana is one of those places where people like are born and then don't really leave because it's like quaint and nice and it's comfortable.
Depends where. I've been in places in Indiana where I wanted to leave rather quickly. Um, but I mean, Indiana is cool. I mean, we're only an hour and about 20 minutes from Chicago. We're about the same from Indianapolis, so I can still get
Wow.
that. I can still get that big city lifestyle, like if I wanted to. But I mean, growing up in New York and living in the city and paying all that money and all those people, it's kind of nice now. Like, don't get me wrong. You hear it in my voice, and it's in my heart. I love New York to death. I will never ever not say I love New York. It's in my heart always. But this, I mean, my mortgage here is less than what I was paying for rent for a studio
Oh
in
my
the
gosh.
city. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
stay right here.
Oh, it's comfortable, and you
I
still
get
For
have
that.
access to the big
sure, for
city.
sure. Yeah.
I get that.
Well,
Cool.
okay,
Yeah.
so who wants to go first? What makes it feel like Halloween in the traditional or non-traditional sense?
Hmm.
Like, what does like Halloween me go buy tons of candy, specific candy like candy corn, yum, or like buying pumpkins and carving them because it's adorable.
See, I feel like it's a locational thing too. Like I feel it's different in all walk. I mean, not like coming from New York, it's a little different Halloween because in the city, I remember like I had a lot of friends that in downtown in the village area of Manhattan, they have a huge Halloween parade. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen this year, but it is a
Oh,
blast. The costumes are over the top. It's a huge parade. It's fantastic. They don't
a
I don't know if they do
Halloween
that.
parade. I don't think I've
Yes.
ever heard of the Halloween
It's
except for like little kids lining up.
no, this is like some of these costumes are movie quality. Like it's ridiculous what these people do, and it always was a blast. And some of those things is what reminds me of Halloween. Some people will be like, "Oh, pumpkin spice at Starbucks." Like, yeah, all right, I don't even know what that is, but I mean,
No.
to me, growing up in New York, I mean, we were a little.
Hmm.
Me and my friends used to, do the eggs and shaving cream type of stuff, and like bomb
Oh my
houses, and
god.
Nice.
TP
that
places
yeah, like when I was younger. I mean, I'm 37. We're talking like,
2 years ago.
well, yeah, right. Yeah, 35. Yeah, I was doing it here with the high school
Yeah.
kids. No, I mean it was fun, and New York is different. Like here, it's like you go pumpkin picking, and like I have 6 pumpkins in front of my house. Like would have never done that because we didn't have
Six
room for them.
pumpkins. That's a lot of
Yeah.
pumpkins.
Oh, my wife she likes pumpkin. I don't know.
I
I get
love your
forced to
wife.
go. Like, oh, we got to
Yeah.
go pumpkin picking.
Oh,
Do you
cute.
go and like pick the biggest pumpkin, or you're like, this is it, I'll just take this one and leave?
Literally. So here's a funny story. So we got there to the patch, whatever you want to call it, and we
That's
parked the
pretty cool.
car. And there was like a really, like, I swear to God, like, because it's right there, like the patch is everywhere, and you park in this like dirt area, and right in front of the car, it was like this nice pumpkin. It was like, all right, let's go, we're done. She's like,
Did you
no, I
go
got to work. She's got to walk further out. I was like, it's not a puppy, like it's a
all the way
pumpkin.
out?
Take it and let's go.
It's not a
That's not the
puppy.
We
perfect
gotta
one,
go.
Don.
Like, so, my son and my daughter were there. So my daughter's like, oh, this one's cute. And my son's grabbing one. I'm like, all right. So we end up with 6. And
Did
this
you
is
have a little
something I didn't
wagon
do.
carrying your little pumpkins?
No, I'm the schmuck that has to carry them by hand on my
Oh
shoulder.
my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The muscle. They
That's a
made
lot
you
of
do that with a
pumpkins.
broken ankle?
It wasn't broken then. Not
Oh,
broken,
okay.
sprained. It was okay at that point.
It's worse to sprain it. A break, it's
It's
easy. You get a
true.
little
I
boot.
would have rather break it. I'm being
Yeah.
honest with you. Yeah. No, I've done it before. This
I
is
can trip
worse.
you and you can just like fully break it and just feels
Fuck.
better.
As long as it's like if it's in a McDonald's or a parking lot of a store where I can say I did it on purpose.
Claim it.
There
Yeah.
you go.
We're going to, for the first time, we're taking our daughter and son to, what's it called? A corn maze with some friends this weekend. Oh, no, right? I
That
don't know what
scares
to
me.
expect.
Are you
Corn
doing the
maze.
flashlight nighttime one?
I don't think I could do that.
I know
No.
it freaks me out every time I have a
No.
panic
It's
attack.
gonna be during the day. We're gonna go and I think there's pumpkin chunkin kind of thing. Like you can toss pumpkins.
Nice.
Um,
That's
and
cool.
there's a corn maze, and I always want to like steal some corn, but then I'm like, that's not what that's for, right? Do
Well,
people
Where are
take
you
corn?
gonna
what would you do with it?
I'd eat that corn. I love corn.
see? There's different kinds of corn, and being from Indiana now,
Yeah,
I
you
now
know.
know that.
Oh, you know about corn then. Tell us. Can you eat corn maze corn and steal it
No,
for yours?
probably not.
It's like all
Some of
dried
that.
up and shit.
I mean, from what I understand, and this is a question I had. So there's obviously like popping corn. There's like the edible stuff. There's the stuff that turns into fuel, and then there's like the uh, meal stuff and the feed stuff. It's like totally different. There's like
Oh,
five,
wow.
6 different kinds, and I don't know the difference. I just know that. I don't know.
That is
Like
more
if I
than
were
I
to
do.
see one, like if it's like, oh, it's corn. Like I don't know the difference. Like I'm not gonna be like, this is this strand of corn. Like no, I
I'd
don't
be
care.
like, that's the corn from A Quiet Place when they fell in and the alien was there.
Yeah. No.
I love your dog. Um, I like the crispy, crunchy leaves that you can step on. We have this really nice path around the corner from us, and we go walking every day after my kid's virtual school. And he's like, "Mom, here's a crunchy leaf," and he puts it in front of me. He's like, "Here you go, crunch on it." I'm like,
He's the
"Okay."
sweetest.
Isn't he just perfect?
He
Just
really
love
is.
him.
What pumpkin patch are you going to? Or corn maze? Whatever.
I have no idea. Our friend was
Oh,
like, "You want to
okay.
go?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" Okay.
Cool.
It's just one with corn mazes and stuff. I think we're gonna pick a pumpkin. I don't know.
Not 6.
No. One and done. A family
Yeah, thank
pumpkin. No, one for
you.
each kid, because if you get one pumpkin for one kid and not the other, there's gonna be an issue.
Oh yeah.
Love them so much. Um,
I made the correct life choices.
is to have my children as your children?
Yeah, but from 2,500 miles away.
You miss them so much and you know
I
it.
do miss them so
God.
much.
Landon, my son, we call her Auntie Nessa because we've been friends for so long after she hated me. And he's
You
always like,
hated me too.
okay, you started it. Anyway,
Nuh-uh.
Nessa. Um,
Whatever.
Landon's always like, "Oh, where's Auntie Nessa? I miss her. She's coming for Christmas, right? We can go see her." I'm like, "Yeah, babe." And he's always like, "Can you send a picture to Auntie Nessa?" I'm like, "Okay."
He's the
So,
sweetest.
yeah.
I can't wait to see him in his little costume.
Power Rangers.
Are they having trick or treating by you guys?
No. They
Yeah.
have like these little like hair styling places, salons, I guess is what they're. I'm so sorry, Nessa. We could still be friends that are doing like a drive-through trick or treating where they give you bags.
What?
And
Wait,
there's
kids don't
the
get to trick or treat this year?
no. Well,
Yeah, we
most people aren't doing it. Some people are trying to like throw candy on like a big table out there and kids can like grab candy or whatever or individual
the
bags.
honor system. Someone's taking the
Yeah.
whole thing.
I always took a little bit more than I should have when I was younger. I mean, it's there, I'm gonna grab it.
Huh, that's sad.
And the police
We
department's doing a drive-through Halloween little treat bags.
we find out on the 21st if where I live in St. Joseph County if we're allowed to have trick or treating or not. But we're having a Halloween party. My wife wants to host a Halloween party, so we're having one with like all our friends' kids and our kids, and we're gonna do some stuff. And it's funny. We'll talk about costumes. I'm assuming later, but I think me and my wife's costume is pretty funny.
Do you guys have a family costume with your kids?
No, my son refuses. He's 6 and he thinks he's a tough guy, but we have a couple's costume. Being that I'm from New York and she's not, so I'm dressing up as the Statue of Liberty and she's dressing up as a New York tourist.
That's adorable. Oh
Cute.
my
And I think that's
gosh.
funny. I think it's funny because she's like, "Well, I should be Lady Liberty." I was like, "No, I'm from New York. I'll be the Statue of Liberty. You be the tourist. It makes sense. We're
And
married."
you'll be in a dress and it'll be funny for all of us.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's a win-win.
it'll be up on social media. Have no worries. You can laugh all you
I'm
want.
so excited. Robert never wanted to do couples costume. Having him dress up was like pulling teeth with him.
I don't think I've ever seen either of you dress up, so you're one to talk.
Thank you very much. We did a Warrior Dash run and I dressed up as a ladybug.
Yes, that's true. But you've never dressed up for any of my Thanksgiving parties.
Oh, yes, I did. The
No, you
werewolf
didn't.
Thanksgiving.
Bitch, you did not dress up.
Werewolf
I was a
Thanksgiving.
werewolf. Yeah,
You did not dress up.
she had a Thanksgiving called Thanksgiving where you dress up as like vampires or
So I like Halloween so much that I don't ever want it to end. And so instead of taking all my Halloween decorations down in November, I just left them up. And my Friendsgiving was Halloween themed. And
That's
so
great.
I called it Thanksgiving. And we had different themes like one year's vampires, one year's werewolves, and
That's
everybody
fantastic.
dressed up. Except for
We
Brie
I dressed up once.
and Bobby.
we have Friendsgiving. Last year we did everyone wear pajamas. So we
Oh, that's
just
fun.
everyone wore pajamas and we had breakfast food for dinner.
Ooh.
Oh, that's the best. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we had a good time. We had a good time. Our friends here, I will say, like I was a little leery at first because I'm a very big personality, and sometimes it's hard for people to. I'm very loud. I'm Italian. I'm from New York. I'm loud, and some people here don't really like that. It doesn't really. They
Aw.
don't like it. So the friends that I have here are awesome. I mean, I can't thank my friends enough. Susan, Becky, Tanya, Dustin. If you guys are watching, I sent you guys the link, so you better be on here.
Yeah, you better.
They're literally and Shelby, all those guys, they're the best. Honestly, they've taken us in as good friends. I work with some of them, and they're really great. They're really great. So for the past 5 years, I mean, I've built a nice little family here of friends and people, and it's like I said, that's why at the beginning of the show, I
Aw.
mean, I really do love it. And we, speaking of Friendsgiving, we do that. We're having the Halloween party because we don't know what's going to happen, and they have kids
Yeah.
and we want them to have a good time too. Like not having Halloween sucks. So, and it's on a
Yeah.
Saturday this year, which is like the first time in
And a
a
full
long time.
moon. And it's a
Oh.
blue moon.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, something's
Uh,
going down.
Watch out.
Oh my
Three
gosh,
days
great.
before 3 days before the election. We won't get into that
Oh
one.
fuck! I didn't even think about that.
Can we gonna talk about? Oh my gosh, yeah,
Whew.
yeah. We can't go trick or treating. Audra's like 1.5 or something. I don't know how old she is, but
Yeah,
she's like
that's
between
about right.
2 and 1. Yeah. And last year they had this really fun Halloween thing downtown in Charlottesville, and they had like bouncy houses and like throwing rolling pumpkin rolling with the bowling. God damn it. And it was really fun. But this year I wanted to have a little party and a shindig, but I don't know. We're cutting it pretty close.
I mean, you
We can
better
still
start
make it
getting those
happen,
invitations out now if you're looking to throw one.
right? I'll just have my friend come over. Hey Nicole, come over please with bring your kid. Bring your kids.
Does she have a baby?
Yeah, she's the one that just had a little baby a month ago.
Tiny
I'm
Yeah,
the
little babies in
godmother.
costumes is the cutest.
Yeah.
I agree.
I always wanna make them like. Oh, did you see that picture of the They're like, I don't know, not toddlers. What's in between toddlers and like school age? Is there a name for that?
Uh,
But anyways, they
child.
had them all dressed up like the Rose
Pain in the ass.
family. Yeah,
Like a
seriously.
roller coaster?
No, like as the Rose family from Schitt's Creek.
Oh wow.
It
Aw.
was so
Oh my
fucking
god.
cute. I could
I
not
love
deal.
it.
My
But
That's
wife loves that
adorable.
show.
Oh my gosh, I've got 3 episodes left
It's
to
the best
finish it.
show ever.
My wife loves that show. That's like our new, because The Office used to be like our background noise. Like if we were
Yeah.
doing anything like cooking, it would be The Office. Now we alternate. Like if it's Schitt's Creek or The Office, but because we do Office roulette, so we'll like hold the button down and whatever episode it lands on, just let it go and press play.
You
That's
guys are so
funny.
fun.
That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
we
Yeah,
love
I
that
just let
show.
Schitt's Creek play in my house. I've probably watched it like 10 times now.
You really
David's the
do.
best thing ever. He's the best thing to ever
He
exist.
is the best thing
Yeah,
He
ever.
really is.
pretty
He
perfect.
really is. It's so funny.
So honest.
Yeah, he is.
That's just like Nessa.
I
Uh,
know.
oh my gosh. Do you guys still carve pumpkins?
We just did yesterday.
Oh, do you have like
Well,
little
I want to
contests with
correct
family?
myself. I want to correct myself.
We?
My wife did, and I watched.
You made your wife do that?
He had to carry them all. It's fine.
Oh, that's right. He's broken and old.
Guys! I'm from New York. We don't know what pumpkins are. We don't carve them. There's no place to put them.
You know the best part about pumpkins?
I'd butcher it.
Pumpkin chunkin' after Thanksgiving.
Just
Is it
just
after
Do they
toss it.
Thanksgiving?
still do that?
Of course they do.
I think it's. Is it not on Thanksgiving? Why did I think it was on?
It's like the
Thanksgiving?
day after,
Oh, okay, maybe.
right? Pumpkin chunkin'. See how far you
I
can
don't.
like launch
I've never even
it.
heard of that. I never
Oh
even heard
my
of that.
gosh. Welcome
That's
to
the people
the
from
world.
MythBusters.
Is
Started
it?
that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That was so good. It's so fun. Uh, okay. Do you want to talk about costumes or scary movies? Don,
I'll
you
let
get
you
to
guys.
introduce. No,
Oh, I
you
get
do
to pick
next.
this time.
Yeah.
I get to pick this time. Oh. I mean, I like everything scary. Like I told you last week, I'm one of those people that'll go into the haunted houses and scare the people that are supposed to scare you. Like I
But is it
love that.
because you're super afraid or you're trying not to be afraid?
No, it's because it doesn't bother me. Like people
Ooh.
go in, people.
Does
Okay,
it?
now Bree's the psychiatrist. So we no, that stuff doesn't bother me
Yeah,
because
uh-huh.
it's fake. Like it's fake. I told you they have the haunted house. It's like 10 miles away from me at Niles Scream Park, which is like one of the best ones in the country. And living in New York, they have Blood Manor in the city, which is like ridiculous. So I used to go with my friends to Blood Manor all the time, and I encourage you to YouTube Blood Manor. It's actually quite fun, but
Is that the one
I,
that they take pictures of people
I
and
don't know.
post it because it's so scary?
Maybe I know, I know. I want to say Ellen made her guy go there once. I don't know where she sends like her assistant to the haunted house. He's just scared shitless all the time. But I mean, I don't know if that's the one, but they do have YouTube videos, and Blood Manor is legit because it's that one kind of got me a little bit. But and some of the ones I hear like at Niles or like when I was living in the Detroit area when I first moved to the Midwest. I lived in Ann Arbor, and there was a couple out there where there would I would just walk around and like scare the people that are gonna jump out, and it just
Ugh.
that stuff doesn't bother me. Haunted houses, paths, haunted hay rides, haunted corn maze, all that stuff. That's fun to me.
Yeah,
I love that.
that's not too scary. I have this fight or flight reflex where I fight. Like sometimes my husband tries to hide behind a corner and scare me, and then I just punch him. And it's just instincts, So I'm terrified to go into one of these haunted houses because I'll just like get sued for beating someone up.
Oh
I'm looking
man.
at pictures of Blood Manor in New York, and that it looks like a scary zombie movie. It looks really. I don't think I could do it. Uh,
I think
yeah.
I think Nessa. I don't think we can hear her.
She's so beautiful. You don't have to hear her because she, no. Oh my gosh, Don, every time you come on or do something, it's technical stuff happening.
I didn't do it.
You're cursed, Don.
No, I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say I'm not lately, but
Right?
it is October. It is Halloween. Maybe I am. I don't know.
Well, I don't want to talk to you on Halloween because it's gonna be a full moon and you're gonna like break my computer.
Oh man, I hope not.
I'm just kidding. Oh, bless her heart.
Uh
Oh,
oh.
look, she's gone and she's coming back. She's gonna turn it off and on again.
Uh oh.
Oh, s- uh, so when you were younger, did you used to go Halloween trick or treating around your neighborhood?
Oh, oh yeah. So I grew up in a neighborhood in Flushing, Queens. It's the Auburndale part of it. It's in Flushing, pretty much, and 39th Avenue, 195th Street. It was me. I have the same three best friends. No, and it's not the three best friends. It's just one of those things where my three best friends I know
Now?
since now we can hear you. We got you
Okay.
now.
Yay.
So,
Sorry, it's because I got a FaceTime call, and it fucked everything up.
oh
Best.
man, damn FaceTime. So I grew up. My three best friends my whole life. They were in my wedding. I know them since I'm in diapers. I know them for 37 years, and I'm 37. Uh,
Aw.
we all trick or treated together with the whole block. It was all the kids on the block. So there'd be like 3 adults and like 10 kids, and we
Oh my
just
gosh, those
go
poor parents.
and walk around. Yeah, so we lived in what they call garden apartments in the city. So there were blocks of 4 doors. So the two side doors would be the ground floor, and the two middle doors would be the upstairs apartments. And there was like 40 blocks of them throughout the whole area.
Wow,
And
lots of
we'd
candy.
go around the corner, and there was the train tracks, and you go underneath the train tracks and around on the other side. So we'd make out like bandits. And it was just it was really a lot of fun growing up there and doing that. Like that's one of the great memories I have. And it's funny, one of my friends, I don't have it with me, sent a picture of one Halloween where I'm dressed as a pirate, and this is probably from 1989. So
Oh my God.
I had to be like 6 years old, and it's all of us from like
Oh
the
my
block, and there
God.
was like 10 of us, and it was so much fun. Like it brought back a lot of memories. It really was a
Hey,
good time.
That's so cool. I remember go trick or treating with the pillowcases, so we could just hit all the good houses and all the good neighborhoods and get those king size candy bars. We like plan
We
it
used
out
to
ahead
get
of
the
time.
used to get the McDonald's buckets. Do you remember those?
oh yeah, those were awesome.
No.
You go to McDonald's back in the day, like before Halloween, like around this time, and they used to give you buckets. One was like there was like a ghost, there was like a pumpkin, and one was like Frankenstein or something like that. And that's what
Wow.
we used to use because it was you go to McDonald's, you get a Happy Meal, and you get a bucket, and it was like $3 back then. So we didn't make a lot of money. My mom and dad didn't, so that was my Halloween bucket. Like, yo, get the hell out of here and go trick or treating.
Oh, that's so adorable.
It
Go
was
find a
funny.
bucket.
Yeah, I mean, those are the memories I have. And then, as we got older, like I said, going to the store and buying eggs and shaving cream and taking a hot needle and putting it through the head of the shaving cream so it shoots farther,
Oh,
like silly string almost.
Little
Yeah,
engineers there.
yeah, we were street engineers, absolutely, in a good way. But you just take You just take the pin. If you ever want a trick, if you a can of Barbasol, you take a pot,
Uh-huh.
like you heat up a pin with a lighter and you put it all the way through the hole and you take it out and when you squeeze it, it shoots further.
Huh.
So we used to get people from like
Interesting.
across the street
How
with
did you
shaving
figure
cream.
that out?
Probably my friend's older brother who knew and then passed it down generationally. So it was like, all
Smart.
right. So yeah, we
Yeah.
used to do that. My mom used to get so mad because I used to come home covered in shaving cream and eggs. She used to be like,
Hold on.
we had like a little foyer, and she'd be like, "Take your clothes off." I'm like, "Ma," she's like, "I don't care. Take your clothes off." I was like, "Gross." She
Put
put
them
them
in
in
the
a garbage
wash.
bag. She put it. Well, we didn't have washing machines. We had to go to the laundromat. She goes, "Tomorrow morning,
Oh,
you're going by yourself."
man.
I'm like,
Oh,
"Okay."
Oh
God.
shit.
You got
Yeah,
in
like that
trouble
was my punishment. Like, go do the laundry and get the hell out of here.
all
Yeah,
by
that was
yourself.
all Halloween memories for sure. Absolutely. No, we had a good time in the city. I mean, it's different here. You don't see that because there's not a lot of like I wouldn't say like there's a lot of neighborhoods. I live in a neighborhood, but the kids aren't close like we were. Like
Yeah.
it's a different time too. Now there's all this stuff and all this worry and back then it was like go trick or treating 1989 1990 like my mom was like come back when it gets dark out like
Right.
Yeah.
Make mud pies and, eat dirt. It's
yeah like
good for the
it
soul.
wasn't even a thing. Yeah, it was like out at 9 a.m and in the summer and back at 9 p.m when your mom called your name. Like that was it. Like there was no back and
Yeah.
forth. Like that's how it was. So yeah, but that Halloween was great back where I grew up. It was a lot of fun. I mean, what did you guys used to do when
You
you were
gotta go first.
younger?
We were trick or treaters. I was an only child until I was 10. So I would go with mostly with my mom. My dad was one of those dads that like stayed at home and he turned all the lights out because he didn't want anybody to come knock on the door.
Oh, that's so
That's awesome.
But my mom would take me and my friends around, and I lived in a neighborhood too where it was like duplexes really, so there's just kids everywhere, which was really fun. And then we would go to my grandma's house, which is like looking back on that is like kind of a random thing, but every Halloween we'd like go drive out to my grandma's house and my grandma would be dressed up even though she lived on a farm and didn't get any trick-or-treaters. And so then I would get all of the like mega sized candy bars that she had got for all the kids who didn't actually come to her house.
aw.
Because when you live on
Sad.
a farm and you think maybe you're gonna get 6 trick-or-treaters or whatever, you just get the full size shit. You don't
Good to
mess around
know.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't mess around with
Uh-uh.
the little stuff.
Smart.
But yeah, we would do like pumpkin patches and stuff like that. I remember doing that as a kid. That was really like all of us humoring my mom. None of us really cared about that at
The
all.
biggest fan. Aw.
Yeah, I still don't really care about doing that much. It's interesting because I like being scared, but I don't want to watch scary movies. So like I'm all about a haunted house. I'm all about like touring haunted place, like actually haunted places or shit like that. But like I just don't want to watch a scary movie.
Hmm.
My last year in Virginia, we went um, to a haunted. I guess they were calling it like a haunted forest, and that I think was the scariest. And I've been to some like intense, not like you're talking in New York, but I've been to some intense things. And this one, I don't do clowns. Clowns are my thing. I don't do clowns. I'll do anything else, but I can't deal with clowns. And this one, of course, the very first thing I saw when I went into this haunted house was a clown. And it legitimately stayed 4 inches behind me the
Ugh.
entire haunted house. And he
Oh
kept
man.
like leaning into my ear from behind and being like, I'm right behind you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was fucking terrifying. By the end of it, I was literally crying. It was
Oh man.
awful, but
But
also like really
awesome
fun. Like thinking back on it, I'm like, oh, that was fun.
that I did this. So
Yeah.
good. We
What about you,
never
Ray?
well, we never went to pumpkin patches as a kid, like, because I grew up in Japan um, and then we moved to the States when I was young in elementary school, and we just never did pumpkin patches. I had no idea about it. Like, in Japan, we just go over the hills and stuff and just go to people's houses. You know? And it was so cold that one year I was a ballerina, but I had to wear this big old puffy sweatsuit under it. I was the
Uh-huh.
dorkiest ballerina.
Did you get homemade costumes?
No.
That was
We
my thing. I always wanted a
really
store-bought costume and always got a homemade costume.
now homemade costumes are awesome. I would rather do that, but it's just so much
Yeah,
easier.
but when you're 8 and people are Power Rangers and your mom's making you like a pumpkin, like that's
How
not
about you were just the cutest little pumpkin?
that's not cool at all. No, one year my mom literally found garbage bags that looked like pumpkins with jack-o'-lanterns. They were like had faces on them. And she put me in it and then stuffed it with newspaper. And I literally was a garbage bag for Halloween. It was
Oh,
Oh my
so
gosh.
embarrassing.
Oh wow. Did you have
But
to go to
she loved
school with
it.
that?
No, I don't think I ever went to school dressed up actually.
My father was so horrible that I had really long hair, and every like time for Halloween or Christmas, he would put lights in my hair and tinsel and like pumpkins and stuff. So I was there sitting at the lunch table. I was alone because I was so like embarrassed and shy because I had the shit in my hair. Who the
That
hell
sounds awesome.
sends their kid to school with lights in their hair that light up? Because of course they do. It was traumatizing.
Was this in Japan?
Horrible. Yeah, it was. It was
I would
horrible.
have thought that those kids would have been fully into that.
We
oh,
went to like a English Japanese school, so like we learned Japanese and tea and all that
Uh
stuff, but
oh wow.
it was traumatizing.
A
And
similar thing with me. I mean,
beard lights.
no, 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 no. No, 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 no. I mean, as far as it's funny, you grew up in Japan, but I grew up in Flushing, New York. If you were to Google Flushing right now, just type Flushing, New York, I guarantee you cannot read any of the signs that are there because it was literally me and my friend and 30 other Korean or Chinese kids
Oh
in the class.
wow.
It was
Oh,
absolutely insane. Like
it's like culture shock.
if I were to drop you in the middle of Flushing Main Street with a blindfold on and take it off, you'd swear you were in Hong Kong.
Wow, that's so cool.
Like,
Huh.
so it's funny you say that. So it's like, and here's completely off topic. It's funny. So my friend texted me. His wife does uh, Department of Education. Like she makes sure the lunchrooms are up to par or whatever. So she was at PS 32, which was my elementary school. And yes, they have numbers in New York. They don't have names.
'Cause there's so
Public
many.
school 32 because there's so many. So they were doing a rendition of The Lion King, and I was cracking up because I went on their website and it had the cast list, and everyone was Asian, and I'm like, "How are you doing The Lion King?" It just made me laugh so hard because like that's where I grew up. Like it was a very weird place. Like where I grew up, there was it was like little Korea, then Chinatown, and then there was this part like in the middle on a place called Northern Boulevard where there was this giant Greek church,
Oh
and
wow.
the Greek church from then on, the Koreans and the Chinese stopped. Like they wouldn't let them pass that part where the Greek church was. It was
Oh my gosh.
very odd neighborhood because
That's
you'd go one
weird.
block over and everyone spoke Greek or Italian or whatever, and then you go over and it was like bok choy and kimchi. Like
But
it
like
was.
Yum.
New York is still like that, right? Like
Oh
it's
yeah. Oh, it's even worse. No, you know what? I'm sorry. I shouldn't say worse because I feel like I grew up amazing because of the cultures that I grew up with.
yeah.
Um, because I can be in an apartment building and smell Indian food, Mexican, Chinese, Peruvian, and Bangladeshi food in one floor, and it was great. It was great because like
Wow.
neighbors would bring you food, like, oh, you want this? And I'm like, yeah, sure, because I'm a growing
Yeah.
teenager and I'm eating like this stuff. And like
Yeah.
I thank that part of my life now because like I mean, I there's not really much I won't try or eat. Like I mean, there's people that are like, God, how you've eaten this? I was like, yeah. That's what happens when you grow up in New York. It's like this is what
Yeah.
it is.
It was like a
And
melting pot. So much stuff to try there.
it was just a lot of fun in that area. And going back to Halloween, it was fun too because different cultures do different things. Like if you go
Yeah.
um like closer to like where I live, like by like Shea Stadium where the Mets played, it was more like Mexican, Dominican, Puerto Rican. The Mexicans have a different thing for Halloween, as you guys know, and they would decorate their houses so nice, and like there'd be all these lights, and they have all. It was just a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
Halloween lights. Like I didn't know
Yeah,
that was a thing until like I was
no,
older.
they did, but
Well,
it wasn't
especially
like
with the people who celebrate Dia de los Muertos, it's like a very
yeah,
like religious,
hmm
ritualistic experience
yeah,
more than like generic get some candy bullshit.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then
So
like
they like take pride in it.
living in Flushing too, like Chinese New Year was like a huge thing because
Oh, like a
it like
parade.
yeah, you wouldn't think about it, but you go like downtown Flushing and they'd have this huge thing with fireworks and like all this stuff. And it was a blast because you've already celebrated your
So
New Year's, but like a
cool.
month and a half later, you're celebrating another one because everyone's out in the street shooting off fireworks. Like
Oh my
it was
god.
great. Yeah. Like
That's
they give you the
amazing.
day off of school because half the kids were
Wow.
Chinese or Korean, so everyone
Yeah,
celebrated
yeah.
it.
That's
So
nice having all that culture and growing up in
it
that
was
like
it was cool. It was cool. I wish my son could kind of be, and my daughter as well. But they grow, here it's very rural. It's very, you know, straightforward. Pretty much like here's this, that, and the other thing. There's not much. That's the one thing I miss is there's not much culture here as
yeah.
there was where I grew up, and my kids aren't going to get to have that. But again, talking Halloween wise, it was different depending on what part of the neighborhood you were in. So it was cool. Like it was a fun thing to have.
Do you feel like you have to give your kids the experience of trick or treating until they're like old enough to not to, or check their candy and give them that whole Halloween experience?
I I mean I do. I think like last year my wife took my son out, and last year on Halloween it snowed here. So welcome to the Midwest and lake effect snow. So
That's my nightmare.
yeah, it was yeah,
Right?
it's brutal. From like November on, like you don't want to be here. But no, I mean he loves it. He can't stop talking about it. Like this year he's so excited because he plays Fortnite, and he's like super like that DJ Marshmallow.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's his costume this year, and he's like he can't stay out of the closet, and he keeps putting it on. Like, Dad, look, my gloves glow, and I'm
So cute.
so happy. He's so happy about Halloween. Like he can care less about anything else. But like literally November 1st, it's like, all right, what am I getting for Christmas? So like Halloween's a back end, and we're on to Christmas already. So
Just
Yeah.
skip Thanksgiving. Just go right to Christmas.
well, when you're six, like
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, like you don't really. It's just another day that you get together on it. That you eat with your family. Like we do that often.
And
So
kids also, I feel like, don't love a lot of Thanksgiving foods. So,
no, my son will not eat
yeah.
anything. He will get like breadsticks with cheese on them, and he'll be happy, like not eating anything. My daughter, who's 14, same thing. She won't eat nothing I make. She'll eat her four food groups are like boneless chicken wings, Totina's pizza rolls, uh, pepper. She eats pizza with green olives on them. I don't know where she got that from.
Green olives. I do black olives and mushroom.
Yeah, she's like, I need green olives. I'm like, well, what if they don't have? Then I don't want it. I'm like, well, guess what?
Damn.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
oh my
Wow.
god.
She's
I
diva.
respect
My
that.
daughter, I love my daughter very much, but oh my god, dude, I don't know if
Thank
I can handle it
you.
anymore.
Oh, and you're gonna have another one popping up after he grows up a little bit more.
My son is
Little
just
teenager.
my son's just an animal. He'll be all right.
Oh my god.
He'll be all right.
Yes, it was like a culture shock when I guess I was very sheltered as a child. And I didn't get to do a lot of stuff with like other kids and like go places and like a freaking pumpkin patch. Like I didn't even know I had aunts and uncles until I was like came to the States and was in middle school. It was terrible.
Wow.
So I lost out on a lot of that. And I'm really thankful for like the opportunity to live overseas and do all the culture and all that stuff. But I feel like I'm honest with my children, and I with like when it comes to Christmas and Halloween and stuff, they're like, where does this come from? And like, yeah, about other things too. We're very honest, okay? Very honest with my
Except for
children.
about dinosaurs.
Okay, that's different. My son thinks I make sure he's not listening. Know everything about Jurassic Park and I have Jurassic Park friends and dinosaurs are still real, live on an island and everything. And I'm not going to tell him differently. But for real things like Halloween, where it comes from, and if Santa's real, he was a real person, but he does not bring you presents. And I'm sorry.
See, see, for me, I have Santa's phone number in my phone. So
Yeah, you
whenever I
gotta
like,
use that as a bribing tool.
oh, dude, that's the best thing ever. I'm like, my son will be acting up. I'm like, hey, Sam, you know how I'm gonna call, right? He's like, all right, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, that's right, that's right. So like from like now to like the end of the year, like right at the end, like he's like the perfect kid. So these are like my favorite months.
Oh my gosh. My kid's like, I just marked these pages in the Amazon book. Santa's going to bring them to me, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
what
Can
the
we talk for a
hell?
second about the Amazon book? What
I
in
hate
the
it.
actual fuck is that?
Did you
I
not
hate
get
it.
one?
I didn't get one, but I've heard everybody talking about it, and I just don't
Yeah.
understand, like,
It just has like a
why they
100
felt the
pages of
need.
toys.
I
Why?
hate it. I hate it. I hate
Some
it.
kids
I
can
hate it.
pick what they want and so bribe the parents into purchasing
So
things for them.
it's like the Sears catalog that we had
Yeah.
when we were kids.
Yep.
Yes. But it's just
I
like a
remember that
toys.
giant catalog.
It
We
was
used to
like
go
a
to the back.
fucking
Remember,
encyclopedia.
you used to go to the back and like all the toys, like
Oh
Nintendo, and
yeah.
it was like, yes, circle, circle, and you'd get
Yeah.
like two things, and it's like, what the fuck? All right,
Yeah.
thanks, mom.
Oh my
But
god.
like my son, I told you Nessa. So not sorry, Bree. We talked about this because we got the book, and my wife's like, so you get to circle a couple things and then Santa will bring you, you know, a couple things. So he's like, okay. So he's flipping through the pages and he gets to the page with the Nerf guns and he circles every fucking gun on the page. He's like, Santa's going to bring me all these guns. I said, no, for sure he's not.
Oh my gosh.
You
And
have
then they're
8
like,
already.
how
I
do
don't
you
think you
know
need
he's
more.
not? Oh
No,
my
because I don't
gosh.
need to turn the corner and get shot in the face with a Nerf dart.
Right? And he
Yeah.
thinks that like just because he circles something, Santa's gonna bring it to him. And I'm like, well, Santa's gonna check your attitude first, so you better.
And they
And
don't put the prices in
oh,
there.
no, they don't. No, they
No,
don't.
that's how they get you. So your kid
Yeah.
circles it and you feel bad. You go on, it's like $120. I'm like, yeah, all right.
I
See ya.
love
Oh
you, but
Leave.
no.
there's limits. Oh
Remove from cart.
my god.
That's terrible.
Yeah. And I feel like I love my children, but I'm not gonna get them everything that they want because I don't want to spoil them, and they're gonna earn stuff that they get and
hmm
appreciate it more because I ain't raising those sissies.
So, so
And
I have a
Nessa sends it.
question. I have a question for you guys. Since we're talking Halloween stuff and everything, so what are your guys's? And I know Nessa, you said you don't really like scary movies, but if you had to pick, what would be? It's Halloween night. You're sitting in your house. If you were to have to pick a horror movie, period, what would be your go-to?
Um,
She's leaving the house. She's not even turning the TV on.
Hocus Pocus.
Oh my!
That's a,
It's a
what?
Disney movie.
Oh
It's
my
not.
gosh. What? But Anaconda is considered like a horror movie, and that wasn't scary at all. So
Oh,
there's scary, there's spooky, and there's horror movies.
I
had
don't know. I
Jennifer
probably
Lopez
would
half
pick.
naked. It's not scary at all.
There you go. I
Everyone's
probably
favorite.
would pick. I actually really liked Jennifer's Body.
Oh wow.
The Alien movies.
Oh
Mm,
my god, I got a funny story about that. But go ahead.
okay.
Something like that. Something that's not too like, I don't know. Definitely not a clown movie.
No, I guess not.
Like it.
Um, a Clockwork Orange for me
Oof,
is like a good
that's like
Halloween movie.
that's a mind f. If you really,
Yeah, for sure.
I've
that's
never
a.
seen past the first like 3 minutes of that movie.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
the first 30 minutes are hard to get through.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
that's a tough one. That's a tough
Very
one for me. I've
rapey.
seen it twice. I
Uh,
can't.
Yeah. What about you, Brie?
um, recently I went through this kick of watching super scary movies on Netflix, and so I went through a whole bunch of them, like Hush with the deaf lady in her
Oof.
house, and that guy tries to come in, and it comes at night, like post-apocalyptic stuff, and the ritual where guys go out and um, do this trip for the friend that died, and it's just messed up. And the girl with all the gifts in the tall grass and Sweetheart, like these low budget scary films were pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was really impressed, uh and I finally watched the Bird Box movie like a year after everyone was like, "Oh my
I
god,
still
watch
haven't
Bird
seen that.
Box."
That movie annoyed the crap out of me. I
Yeah, it
What
walked
was
is
out
just
of the
it?
like
room.
I feel
too
like
weird.
The Craft is a really
Oh, the that was
underestimated movie for Halloween.
that's a great movie.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Like Lost Boys too. That was another one that
Oh
was in the
Yeah.
yeah,
same
Lost
in the
Boys.
same realm. Like I like those old '80s like horror movies, like all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Like I'm an old
Oh,
school guy, so I'll watch like all those. I love the Halloween movies. You know what gets me about the Halloween movies? Oh, not the premise and the character or anything. That stupid music, like it freaks me out sometimes.
yeah.
It
Yeah, I
really
like to watch
does.
scary movies on silent with subtitles, and like the music comes up and it's like scary music playing ominous music, and I'm like, "Oh my God."
Yeah,
So, I like
but
watching.
you said Alien before, and
Yeah.
through pretty much, I would say the first 12 to 13 years of my life where I lived, my mom had a friend in the area who had a huge live, not live, but like movie quality xenomorph alien head in
Ooh.
his house. And one time I
Why?
was sleeping. One time I was sleeping, and I had to be like, I got so mad. I can remember this because I want to say I was like 10, 11, and he put it on and he came in the room, and I've not seen the movies yet. And he put it on and it was dark and it freaked me out. And I would not watch those movies for the longest time. I would say I was probably 18, no, 16 in that realm before I watched the first and second one.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my
It would freak me
gosh.
out. Now I
That's
love them.
scary.
Like I love
Yeah.
the alien movies, and like I'm a big. This is kind of odd, but I'm a big Disney guy. And back in the day, at MGM Studios, when it was called, there was the Great Movie Ride, and it had a scene in it from Alien. And up until I was, like I said, 16, 18, I'd go like this through the whole thing.
Oh.
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'll tell you, I was scared shitless because I was like, man, I don't know about this thing. Like I had a bad memory about it, and I'm like, I'm not gonna look at this thing because it would come out of the ceiling and like chomp at you, and
Uh,
I was just
Oh.
like, yeah, I'm not looking at it. Nope, not gonna do it. And
Oh.
uh-uh.
That's
yeah, no,
scary.
it was that was one of those things. But yeah, I like all those old like Friday the 13th and like A Nightmare on Elm Street, which Freddy Krueger was hilarious in my opinion.
Freddy
Like
Krueger fucking ruined my life.
Just so scary.
really,
It was
Gross.
so terrifying. Yeah.
really. See, I
Yeah,
didn't
because
find
it's
him
like
terrifying.
when you can't control your sleep. Like you
Uh,
gotta sleep.
yeah.
You just got to. And the thought of like I even still now when I think of that, all I think about is that scene. I think it's in the first one where like homegirl is like her body's like flying through the room and like slamming into the walls and shit.
Hmm. Yeah.
And no, I'm gonna
See, I
note right
laughed.
out of that.
I laugh because, and I think it's the second one where the kid, his dad wants him to be like him and all this stuff, and he goes to sleep, and Freddy's like playing him in a video game, and the dad's like the bad guy in the video game, and he's like, be like me, and so one of the guys like like unplugs the Nintendo, and Freddy goes, "You forgot the power glove," and he's like playing it. It was just funny to me,
Uh,
like that stupid humor, like
yeah.
that's cheesy, like I don't know, that just made me laugh, like, and it's all those 80s old school like horror, like one of the ones I've never
Like
saw was
Chucky.
like Hellraiser. I've never seen any of those.
I've never seen
um,
those either.
the Candyman, I've never seen any of those. I know they're remaking it now. um but you know Friday the 13th, Halloween, and Nightmare on Elm Street, like those three right there, like.
Did you get into the Chucky series at all?
No, I never got into that because it's like, dude, you're a little doll. Like, I'd punt you across the room. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
really afraid of that. That doesn't scare me, to be honest with you. Like, I've just seen a doll running at me with a knife. Like, I'm probably gonna kick it across the room a little bit. Like, it's not
Ugh.
gonna affect me in that
Like the
way.
surprise factor is like the
Yeah.
scariest
I
part.
get that.
And then like my friends always liked the Leprechaun because that was just funny.
Oh yeah.
The,
I
the
never saw
The
Leprechaun.
those.
Leprechaun.
It was just a good laugh. I mean, they were scary because he like literally kills people. Like, it's crazy, and the way he does it. But like, they were just fun. Like, the one of them was Leprechaun in the Hood. Like, it was it was like he's like a gangster. He drives around in a car with like spinning rims. Like, it was ridiculous.
Oh
Ugh.
my God.
Like like the things people come up with. But like I
Yeah.
the only
And there
one.
was like definitely like a campy
Yeah.
genre for a long time too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And the only horror movie I refuse to watch to this day, and I don't even like talking about it, is The Exorcist, and that's it.
Okay, so speaking of The Exorcist,
Oh, man.
There you go, Don.
no, we don't have to talk about The Exorcist, but
Do now.
my question is, what is a movie that you saw way too young that like fucked you up? Because for me, mine is The Exorcist. I saw The Exorcist when I was like 7 years old, and it fucked me
gosh.
up.
That's so
Um,
awful.
I don't know because here's the thing. My my mom was kind of a free spirit, so we lived in a one-bedroom apartment, and my mom and dad split. So I would sleep in the living room, and my mom would sleep in the bedroom, and I had the TV. We didn't have a TV in the bedroom at that point, so I would sleep with the TV on, and I would flip through channels because my mom was sleeping, and if it was like summertime or whatever, I'd have to go to school, so I'd flip through channels. So like, I would stay up and watch like Yo MTV Raps like in the early 90s. Like, you weren't supposed to do that.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
New York had these like public TV stations where they play like the songs you're not supposed to like hear on the radio, and it'd be that. And it was like the culture, like the old school rap and hip hop culture, but like I watched stuff that I wasn't supposed to watch at a very young age, so it didn't really affect me. What I did have a fear of uh, when I was younger was because growing up in New York in the 80s, in the early 80s, early 90s, it wasn't a great city at the time. Pretty much in the early 80s, probably up until the early 90s, they called it, from the late 70s too, called Fear City. I don't know if there's a documentary actually on Netflix. Um, the whole town was pretty much run by the mafia, and so I was always afraid of. I watched these like gangster movies or whatever, and I was always afraid of like getting shot for some reason. Like, that was like a big fear for me because
Yeah.
you'd see it on the news. Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't even a bad thing. Like, on the news, like 6 people died today in the city, blah blah blah, and it's like, damn, that's crazy. Like, the news
Yeah.
scared me more than any horror movies living in New York. Now, New York is like the least feared city in the world. Everything is good. Brooklyn is gentrified and like $9 million a house. It's not what it used to be, but back
Oh my
then,
gosh.
like, if you even like look at Times Square now, and I could tell you like Times Square in the late 80s, early 90s, two different things.
Yeah.
And that's like the one good thing like Rudy Giuliani did in his life was like clean up New York and do all that. But he eh, that was what I was afraid of
Yeah.
was stuff like that. Like I was afraid because there was that whole thing like there was a lot of kidnappings in New York and there was a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
was
stuff.
gonna say kidnapping
You
was
you
my
grow up in fear, and it's funny because then it went away because like and still you know like I said at the
Keeps you
beginning, your
safe.
mom would be like 9 a.m. go out and don't come back till 9 o'clock, like whatever stuff like that. Come back for dinner or whatever. But it went away the fear. But now it's back again in 2020 where everything you live in fear like you don't want your kids walking around by themselves, who knows what's going to happen, cyber
Sure.
this and all that. It's crazy, but that's what I was afraid
Yeah.
of back then. I mean, more
Yeah.
so than any scary movie that I knew was fake. I was afraid of going
Real life.
outside and something happening like real life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, being stolen.
yeah,
The
for sure.
movie Willow messed me up. The
Dude,
Oh
dogs.
Willow
my
was
God.
fucked
Really?
up.
Those
Willow?
dogs gave me
Yeah,
nightmares
Willow
for
is
years.
The
And
guy
American
in
Werewolf in
Willow,
Paris.
the little guy in Willow who was in Star Wars was also the Leprechaun. Funny, six
He
degrees
really?
of
was
I
in
didn't
separation.
know
everything.
that.
Wasn't he in like Harry Potter too?
He's in everything that's small. He's great. I
Yeah,
love him.
and he's
Great.
still alive. He's just kicking. He's just making movies.
What the hell? What the hell is his name?
Scary
Warwick
movies.
Davis. Warwick Davis.
Where is that his name? Oh,
His name is Warwick Davis. He's
yeah.
great. He's great.
He's
Also, the Dark
actually in everything.
Crystal. Did you guys see the Dark Crystal when you were kids?
Was it a
Mm,
cartoon?
The Jim Henson movie?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god, you should watch it.
Is it like the
Oh,
Labyrinth or something?
It's like no, it's
weird creatures with
like
long noses.
puppet people. Yeah, it's like you gotta just watch it. It's like a weird, very creepy Jim Henson world, and it's a kids movie, but I didn't see it until I was like 17, and it still terrified me.
Well,
Wow.
what's it called? What did we just watch? The witch movie. Hocus Pocus was supposed to be a kids movie, and like I was sitting there screaming when that zombie popped up. Like
Okay,
there are
but
several
a
points.
Dark Crystal is like way scarier than Hocus Pocus.
Really? I
Yeah.
don't think I'll watch it with my 6-year-old.
No, don't watch it with Landon. Watch it by yourself.
I just still can't
Horrible.
believe that was the first time you saw Hocus Pocus.
Right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I guess I was sheltered as a child.
I honestly can say I cannot stand that movie because October 1st comes around and my wife is like Hocus Pocus and it's
I
on
need
the
to be
TV.
best friends with your wife.
Dawn, you're gonna get in so much trouble if she sees that.
Let's
Oh, I
have
don't. She knows. I tell her all the time. I'll
can
go.
we
I'll
have
be
his
halfway
wife
up.
on?
Yeah,
I'll
can
be
we have
halfway. I'll
your
be
wife seems
halfway.
really cool.
I'll be halfway up the stairs and I'll hear it and I'm like, God damn it!
It's
And
so
she'll just laugh.
good.
It's
Aw.
okay. I mean, I don't know. Me and my wife want to go. We're trying to see what because obviously this year's shop, but we've always wanted to go to Salem
Yes, me
for
too.
like Halloween. This would have been the best year to do it because it's on a Saturday. But we always
Yeah.
wanted to go and check it out and see what it's about. I lived on the East
Too.
Coast 28 years, never got a chance to go up there, and we were so close. But
Aw.
we'll get there eventually. See, I like that kind of stuff, like that old,
Yeah.
like colonial style, like that kind of place. And it's funny on Netflix, and I don't know if you guys watched it. I did. It was funny, but it's just like every other Adam Sandler movie. The Hubie Halloween movie.
No, I haven't watched it yet.
No.
It's Adam Sandler, but if you've watched one Adam Sandler movie, you've watched them all. It's all
Yeah.
the same people that are in it. He does that stupid
Yeah.
voice that he does for everything. But it was so corny, it was funny, but it takes place in Salem. So
Oh, I didn't know
Uh,
that.
yeah, so I mean there was a lot of it's funny, there was a lot of Hocus Pocus references too in it. So if you haven't seen it, I would suggest checking it out. It's not scary. It's just an Adam Sandler movie. It's like watching Happy Gilmore or
Yeah.
Billy Madison or whatever. It's just one of those things. They're all the same characters. Everybody's in it that you would think would be in it.
I liked
Cool.
Adam Sandler up until he did that one movie. What is it called? Where he's like, uh, all angry, and he has to go like to therapy because he's always
Oh, anger
yelling.
management.
Yeah, that
That
movie
wasn't
was
bad because that had Jack
so
Nicholson in it.
terrible. You think that that would redeem the movie, but no, it was terrible.
Huh.
So it turned me off to the Adam Sandler world. I
I
still
was
love you,
okay with
Adam.
him until he started doing like kids movies.
Oh, like the Dream one with the
I don't
gumballs
know. But
and
then he
Click.
did Uncut Gems, and Uncut Gems was weird and stressful.
My buddy was in that movie.
Really?
The guy who plays the guy, well, he's not really my buddy. He's my friend's like good friend. He what the hell is his name? He's a jeweler in New York, Mr. Flawless. Um,
Ooh, that's a fun name.
he's in that movie. It was cool to see him in there because we kind of grew up with him. I know him like if I saw him, I can't like call him on the phone or anything like that. But he's
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
dude. But he was in it,
Wow.
so we watched it. It wasn't bad. It was more serious than I thought
Yeah, it
it
was
was going to
really
be.
intense.
Yeah, it was a very intense movie. It's more of I've never seen Adam Sandler in that kind of role before. He's usually in
No.
like
Right?
comedies or playing some dope or whatever. But
Yeah, same
this
with
was
Robin Williams. Like, I
yeah,
liked him so much until he played in that one movie, The 1 Hour Photo.
dude. Yeah.
After
Oh,
that movie, like, I could not look at that man the same.
I mean,
That
it
But
was
movie
that
made
so
me
showed
good
so mad.
though.
that showed his range though. Like that's the
Yeah.
type of guy he can do
He was
anything.
just too good at it, though, you know?
Yeah,
So
but that just shows you the type of actor he is. He's a method actor. Like he can do anything. He has such a high range. Like God bless him. I mean, I know he's not around. He's one of my favorite comedians of all time. But
yeah.
if that movie it showed like if you can do that and then do Goodwill Hunting and do the complete different
Patch
aspects of
Adams.
filmmaking, yeah,
Yeah.
think about like a Dead Poet Society. Like you're
My
up and down the
favorite.
scale at that
My
point. Like
favorite movie.
Yeah,
it
Mrs.
he's fantastic.
Doubtfire.
And then
Yeah.
you're the genie in Aladdin. Like come on, like this guy was. I mean,
Legends.
It was just,
yeah,
he was just too good at that scary, and I just you just felt something deep inside of his soul that it just didn't sit right with me. So I didn't like him after that.
I loved it. I thought it was great because he's never done it. So it's like
Yeah.
watching this unfold was like, damn, I didn't know you can do that. Like, like
Like, let's stop doing it though, because you're creeping me out, man.
he did it. I don't think he did.
Hey, puppy. Yeah, I think that's the only one that he's really.
That's the only one he did. So you got your wish, but
Thank goodness. Hi, puppy dog.
He got
But
scalped today. See, I don't even look like myself.
he's so beautiful, though. We
Looks
love
like a little
him.
rat.
So yeah. Well, we appreciate you coming on and talking about spooky stuff.
yeah, no, of course. I know we went off the rails a little bit, but
That's
that's what
okay.
we're
What
shooting
we
the
love.
shit, right? We got to talk about everything, right?
That's
It's
what
like
we
women
do.
are spaghetti, you know. Just one thought goes to another thought goes to another.
There we go. I can't
That's why
complain at
it's
all.
called shooting the shit.
I
Oh my
had a
God.
blast, ladies. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Definitely would love to come back and shoot the shit with you guys again.
Yeah.
Where can we find you on social media?
You're gonna go to Twitter and go to @GameOnEveryone. Instagram is Game On Sports Podcast. I always screw that one up. My God. On Twitch, it's Game On Sports Podcast, and on Facebook is Game On Sports Podcast for everyone. Yeah, I mean we're here. We just put an episode out today. Our episodes come out on Mondays and Fridays at 11 a.m. religiously. Whether
Is
it's
that
just
you or
me,
someone else? Don.
huh?
Is it you or Carlos or Danny that puts it out at 11?
No, I do. I put everything out. I do everything. I put it out. But last night it was just me and Carlos, so it was one of those things. I love the guy. He was on time, so I can't complain at all.
Wow, I guess
And he
one
wasn't
makes up for
eating.
100.
He wasn't eating, but he looked like a 60-year-old Dominican man, like with a wife beater on, and he looked like he wanted. Like he would come outside drunk and ask for Coors Light. It was kind of funny. I made fun of him for it. I
We
love
all
him.
need
He's a good
Carlos
kid.
in our lives.
That's
You
awesome.
do, you do. I think everyone does. He's a great dude. Honestly, I can't say enough about him. You know, he's a hard worker. You know, and he does his thing. He's doing his thing and is a chef, and we love him.
We do
That's
love food.
awesome.
That's probably why
Before
he's
you
always here.
go,
Yeah.
World Series is happening. Well, soon, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, who's your pick?
Well, I had to dig deep for this one because I I'm a Met fan and a bitter one at that because we don't really do much. Um, but having my roots in New York and the Dodgers coming from back in the day in Brooklyn, um, I got to go with LA. Why? Because lately they've always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. Like they
Yeah.
always get there and then they get screwed. They get cheated by Houston and all that. And I said it in the episode that came out today. I was rooting for Houston, and I think I was the only one outside of the city of Houston rooting for them because I really wanted to see LA and Houston, um, because they hate each other, like
Oh my gosh.
vehemently hate each other, and it would have been good for baseball because in my eyes, baseball in this point in time is an old people's game. Even though I love it, I love baseball through and through, but it needs a villain, and Houston's that villain. And to have that and get the younger viewers, and yeah, so what if someone gets into a fight or being somebody in the batter's box or whatever? Like, if that's what it takes to get baseball back on the map, where it's not, the age gap is from the mid 30s to 75, like that's the age group of baseball viewers. Like
Wow.
Yeah.
no one under the age of 35 watches the game, and it's sad because it's America's
Wow.
pastime and it's a great game, but
Yeah, and a lot of
not
kids
out
like
there.
baseball too, and Little League World Series.
It's not out there anymore. It's like it's weird. Like I remember growing up, like I played baseball, like I played hockey pretty much my whole life in baseball, but you grow now everyone's like NBA, LeBron James, football, this, that. No one cares about baseball anymore. It's sad. I don't know. So they
Aw,
need it. They need it for sure.
we
Go
love
But
Dodgers.
baseball.
go Dodgers. Yeah, I'm gonna say Dodgers in 6 because Tampa Bay is a tough team. So we'll see what happens. I will be tuning in and watching it. Obviously, I have to. I have a sports podcast, but um, I didn't watch much baseball this year because of that.
Yeah.
I think the game has gone on the downslide and a downward spiral, and I really hope that changes. So we'll see what happens.
Well, this year hasn't helped at all
It
either.
hasn't helped any. It hasn't helped anyone. But I will say, sports wise, if you look at COVID and what has happened, and you look at the NHL and the NBA, they are the only two leagues that haven't had during their restart any positive cases of COVID from the beginning of the restart to the end of the season. Football's canceled games,
Interesting.
baseball's canceled games and had stuff, but it just goes to show you that doing the bubble, regardless what anyone says, really pays off in the long run. I mean, these hockey players, I mean, I have friends in the league. My friend has, friends in the league, and we talk to these guys, and it's like every day they got tested. There was not a
Yeah.
day that
Wow.
went by that they didn't have a stick up their nose getting tested. And you feel bad because that's not a fun thing. But do you want to play and get through the season and get tested, or do you want to get sick? I mean, again, let's be honest. They're athletes, so if they got sick, the likelihood of anything bad happening to them is very slim to none. But still, it it transfers, and there's not always young people around. Coaches are older, people are older, and things can happen, and it's a serious thing. So
Yeah.
I was happy that hockey and basketball were able to get through. So shout out again to Gary Bettman in the NHL and Adam Silver in the NBA for getting through this without anything touched. But you look at college football, you look at the NFL, and you look at baseball, and they've been marred with a lot of this stuff. And
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
you
the
you
teams.
you think about it, and it sucks because especially me. I don't know about you ladies and how much you follow sports or like sports, but I wanted it. At this point in time, I think in this country, like we need that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
'Cause-
we always look forward to like the Super Bowl and watching the game. Robert today was like, "There's football on tonight. I'm gonna watch it with our daughter," and it's like a family thing, like what you grew up with. We always have snacks and like
yeah,
dips and like Super Bowl Sunday and
Yeah,
football
regardless
Sundays.
if you like the game or not, it brings people together regardless.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And to be able to sit, I mean, you think of all the tough times everyone went through this year, whether it's being furloughed or losing your job or whatever, to watch a game or something on TV that you like and gives you that hit of you know serotonin and gets you going and gives you good vibes to watch something you like. Like for me, it's hockey. Like I was like a kid in a candy store. Like my friends were making fun of me because like as soon as hockey started, like it was on my TV because I was working from home at the time, and it was like, oh my god, hockey's back. Like I was like my eyes were wide, and it was just a blast for me. So
Yeah.
I was thankful for that. So it's one of those things. The same thing with the field like my wife is in, live entertainment and live arts and stuff.
Like my
Like
husband. Yep.
people need that. People need that type of thing. They got to find a way. Like they just said today, Broadway's closed down till June,
Yeah, that's right. That's so
and
sad.
Damn.
Yep.
that is insane if you think about it. Like that
Like
is
actors and stagehands and lighting designers. It's not just like
that's a union. Like you
businesses.
close down people's lives. Like that's
Yeah.
it.
To stop
Like
it.
my wife was telling me all these people in the theater that have been displaced, and you feel horrible, and you don't know like what to do because this is
Like
what
your
you
whole
do for a
industry.
living. Hey, you don't know that this is going to happen, and now it's shut down until that June. That's crazy. That's
And my
Yeah.
husband's
And
been in
like,
the
how do
same
you come
theater for
back from
15
that?
years and now he's 3 days a week. So it's
I feel there's got to be a
devastating.
way. I feel like there's got to be a way to do something. Like I don't know. Like man, I'll tell you that all these crybabies that you walk around and everyone's like, "Well, I got to wear a mask." What? Listen, man, do me a favor. Like
Don't
when
wear
I
a
hear
damn
that at the
mask.
store, I got to walk away because I have a big mouth, and I have to walk away because I'm like, dude, like have some respect. Like just shut
Yeah,
up for the
because you're
15
not wearing
minutes.
a mask. My husband can't go to work and he can't have people in. And now he's working 3 days a week. It's
Yeah,
like
like
wear a
that's the
damn
thing. Like
mask.
I talked to my wife about it. I'm like, why can't you just open the doors and like have people wear masks? And like, because the likelihood of everyone that comes into our theater to not complain about wearing a mask and following procedure is slim to none.
And how
Yeah,
fucking selfish.
And that's the thing.
pretty
And
much.
that's where my mind goes. And at this point, it's like it's one of those things. It's like remember when people were eating Tide Pods
Oh my
and they
God.
put the warning label on it and was like, "Don't eat them." Like, yo, okay, if you're stupid enough to pick up a box of Tide and eat it, there shouldn't be a warning label. It's just natural selection at that point.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I'm with
gosh.
you
Like, just
there.
you know what? If you're
Right.
that dumb, so and that's the thing. I say honestly, as a human, which the three of us are, as we've said, we wear masks and we disagree with people that don't. Those people that don't wear it. Then you get sick. You're the dummy at that point. Like what you know what I don't
Yeah.
know what to tell you.
And for like theaters, there's an awesome organization that my friend Jeremiah Brophy started with his wife. It's called Artistry Relief, and they raise so much, like a lot of funds in order to give like artists and entertainers like $250 or more, and they're
Wow,
able to do that to a lot of people that were out of work. So plug in for
that's
them,
awesome.
Artistry Relief, for
Yeah, that's
setting that
awesome.
up.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. Good for them. Yeah, that's great because you feel because think about it. I mean, who knows now with everything that's going on, like how that's gonna change. Like I hate to keep talking. I told you I'm a New Yorker. I'm Italian, and I talk. But look at movie theaters. What's gonna happen? Like that's
ours is
changed
gone. They
completely.
closed.
No, I mean
Yeah.
they're open here and they're showing old movies, but like at this point, you've now noticed that you don't need to go to a movie. If Disney were to put it on Disney Plus for $20, if you have your whole family come over and watch it for
Yeah.
$20, that's cheaper than going to the theater.
And buying popcorn and snacks and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, you can get it at the store. You watch the movie in your house. Yeah, it's not a giant screen, but who cares? I'm sitting in my house at that point. So,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing with office jobs.
Yeah.
You don't even need to be in the office anymore to do any work. This proved it. You don't need 15
Yeah.
meetings a week. It doesn't
Yeah.
need it anymore. You've now proved that. So it'll be interesting to see in 6 to 8 months where everything stands, and that's something that I'm a looking forward to because I just want this to be over and I want to get back to regular. I need to go see live sports. If I don't, I might explode. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been to a hockey game since February, and that is unheard of. Absolutely unheard of
Okay.
for me. There's
So
once a month.
who's your hockey team?
I'm a Ranger fan from New York, but I
Okay.
go and check out the closest team for me is the Blackhawks. So I'll
Uh-huh.
go to Chicago and watch them. Like if the Rangers are in town, or I'll go with like friends or whatever. So they're my West Coast. They're my the Western Conference team. So I'll go watch the Blackhawks. I got no problem with them whatsoever.
Yeah.
Um, but there's a lot of minor league hockey around me. There's the Kalamazoo K Wings, the Indy Fuel, the Fort Wayne Comets. They they they're not.
Wow.
I think they're going to start allowing fans starting December 12th.
Oh
And
wow.
I'm like, yeah, I think it's like 40% capacity or 50% capacity. I'm like, I'm getting
Yeah.
tickets because if I can't, I'm
Get
gonna
it
lose my
now.
mind.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
Nothing
just
beats a live uh sporting event. I love
no,
going to see baseball. Yeah.
yeah, we definitely talked about that. And yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where that sports is one of the things that gets me going. Sports and video games and my family, obviously, but
Your wife. We love your wife.
We do love your wife.
poor Jane. Jane's talked about way too much. She doesn't even know about it. She's like right upstairs. She
Oh my
doesn't even
god.
know.
Well, you talk
No,
about
but
her in a way that makes people love her, so it's okay.
she's a
Yeah.
saint. Honestly, she puts up with me and all my shenanigans and everything that I do and the podcast and streaming. It's like, oh, what are you doing tonight? I got a thing at 8:30. What about tomorrow? Gonna stream. What about that? I'm recording my show. It's like, when do we have
Oh.
time to hang out? It's like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her birthday is this Thursday, so we're
Happy
we're going.
birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday to my
Gotta
wife. We're
have
gonna go and
plans.
I do. I'm not a terrible person.
Are you saying my husband's terrible because he didn't get me anything for my birthday or
Oh.
Mother's Day?
I'm not. I don't know
I
that.
am. I'm
I didn't know
Jaded.
that. However, it sucks for me because her birthday is the 22nd and our anniversary is the 27th.
Oh.
So it's like a double whammy for me. And then
So
my
it's like a birthday on Christmas, you know?
yeah, and then my daughter's birthday is November 5th. So it's like boom,
Wow.
boom, boom. I'm like, there,
Get it
I'm
all
broke.
out of the
I'm
way.
broke.
Yeah, and
I'm
then
broke.
there's Christmas. God damn it.
But you
Yeah.
obviously remember all of them, so it's okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I'm a huge family guy. I grew up in a big Italian family. My grandfather was an immigrant from Italy. We're big family people. Like I do anything for my family. So that's
Like buy
that.
them gifts on their birthday.
Yeah.
Brianna, calm
Damn it,
down.
Rob.
Oh man, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting involved in that one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about all that.
Tonight.
If I forgot anything, I think I might get killed in my sleep.
Yeah, I like to kick. I'm just kidding.
Especially
Yeah,
for what she puts up with, for sure.
I don't know. I'm pretty easy and awesome to hang out with.
Are
I'm
you
just kidding.
though?
Right? No, I'm pretty competitive and forward and sometimes too honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Fair
I think
enough.
she's great. She's made fun of me the last 3 days about my foot, so that's fine. She called
Was
me
it your
old
foot
man
or
Tom.
your ankle, Don? You're
Ain't
switching it. Is it sure? Are you sure? Are you
it's the
sure you didn't hit
same
your
thing. I mean, I don't know. It's there on my right, whatever it is. It's all the same. I can't really walk that well, so I say my foot. It's gonna
It's
take me
okay.
15 minutes to get upstairs now, Bree. I need one of those old people things.
And
Carlos
the
said
funny
I
thing,
need a
you probably have like 2 stairs.
Oh my
no. I have
god.
10. No, more than that.
Should
I
you
don't
like
know. I
2 minutes per stairs?
Yeah, it's
Oh my god, I'm
crazy.
so sorry.
Man.
Bless your
See,
heart.
this is just this is unfair. It is unfair. We need another man in here ASAP. I need
Oh,
some.
now
I
you're
need.
buying legal trouble.
No.
No.
I'll get Carlos in here. That'll
All
be a
right,
shit show.
Carlos is allowed.
That'll be a. He'll
Fine,
be late.
Carlos.
You would have to
Yeah.
tell him 7:30, and then he would have been on time.
God damn it, Carlos.
He's that
He,
late?
he runs on Cuban time. It's completely different than any other time frame. It's a different time zone altogether.
That's true.
He's the
Oh my
worst.
god. Let's see.
He's the
Thanks
worst.
for coming on, Dawn.
Yeah.
Donnie with an IE.
Yep, you've learned that the hard way.
Yeah, because at first you were like, I like to be called Donnie, and I said, okay, that's fine. And I wrote Donnie with a Y, and apparently it was an issue. I'm just kidding. Just
It
kidding,
wasn't
though.
an issue. I just said I laughed about it. I said even my family gets it wrong. They're like, "Happy birthday, Donnie with a Y." I'm like, "You idiot!
You
I've known you for 37 years. You can't get it right."
Worst. I'm sorry. And next week we're gonna have Miss Glenda Sawyer
Glenda!
on. You can find her on Twitter at Hillbilly762.
Wow.
And she's like, "What do you want to talk about?" I was like, "Spooky stuff, spooky movies and stuff." So
Yeah.
we're gonna have fun with her. She's always like watching our show and like retweeting for us on Twitter, and she's just beautiful and perfect and wonderful.
She is the sweetest.
She's part of the. We shouldn't call it the shit crew. Maybe we should call it the
Wow.
shoot
Yeah,
the
don't
shit
do
crew.
that.
Let's call it the shit crew.
No,
The shitters. The shitters. Don't do that.
the
That's
shits.
it.
Oh, the shits.
We'll
Oh,
come up with something.
okay. We'll do something cool. Sorry, Glenda. We're just.
Oh man.
God damn it. You can find us on Twitter at Bree and Nessa Pod. Nessa is at Evanessa Sue. And I'm at Bree Poe. And don't forget Don. He's really awesome. Game On
try.
Sports Podcast. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Take it
Woo!
easy, guys. Bye bye.